Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to another mixed media tutorial with me, Lisa Taggart. Delighted you could join me today. Calling this piece Breathe, and I love flowers, who doesn't? It's a very layered piece using ink sprays, pan pastels, watercolours and paint pens. So if you're interested in all of that, let's have a look at the materials in more detail. This week we're using Multifarious smooth card for our base. I'm also using this little paint set again, and if you're interested in getting one for yourself, I have a storefront link in the description box below. We've got an all-rounder paintbrush and a water brush. One brush would do. We've got the acrylic ink sprays, periwinkle, chartreuse, cranberry red, bright white and emerald green. I'm also mixing in the Mysticals in fruit sorbet and some distress oxide sprays, why not? We've got scattered straw, salvage patina, blueprint sketch, twisted citron and shaded lilac. Versifying Claire, we've got medieval blue, nocturne and purple delight, but one dark and the purple one would suffice. We've also got some pan pastels, starting with some blues, ultramarine blue, extra dark, turquoise and ultramarine blue, but if you've just got the ultramarine you can mix it with black. We've also got phthalo green and phthalo green shade, again you could mix it with black and that's what creates the shade colour. We've got magenta and violet, some of my favourites. And we've got the ultramarine blue tint, which is really ultramarine mixed with white. We've got an applicator for that and the putty eraser for some blending and a blending brush for the ink. We've got 3 Posca pens in mint, blue and pale pink. And we've got yellow and white in our gel pens. Now the stamps. Not too many this week. We've got seed heads, single fairy orchid. We've got garden poppy. And also the lovely lilium set. So if you want to convert all of these into something that looks a little like this, just keep on watching. I'm starting off with an A4 sheet and I'm really just spraying randomly some of the ink sprays, starting off with some of the paler oxide colours and then moving on to the acrylic brighter sprays. Now you'll see I'm just spraying them, as I say, randomly and seeing what I get. I want light at the right hand side and dark at the left. I want a good mix of different jewel tones, and I'm using my ink sandwich this week just to create a couple of prints because that helps blend the colours together, and I'm left with this. So I'm going to dry that off and then just carrying on with similar colours again, this time in the oxides. I'm just adding those to the mix as well, all the while drying between layers. Now that the ink spray layer is complete, it's an interesting mix. It didn't turn out exactly how I'd hoped. So I'm taking my pan pastels, and what I'm doing is I'm using very similar colours on top to alter and refine the ink spray layer. And I suppose you might ask, well, can I not just use pan pastels on top of the white card and miss out the ink layer altogether? And I think the answer to that is, in my opinion, no, because the beauty of mixed media is that even if the layers aren't all present, they do peek through and they do provide a base for different mediums to be placed on top, and it all adds, in my opinion, to the richness of the piece. And where you have dark ink spread colours, there's quite an opacity to the pan pastels, and that of course will peek through and you'll get this mixed misty effect. So as I say, I'm enhancing what I have already, and I'm thinking about where I want the darks and the lights, and where the stems might be, and where the flowers are going to appear. I haven't worked it all out yet at this stage, but I'm just going with the creative process and seeing what occurs. Now it's time for some colouring, and I've taken this little set of watercolours and decided to add the colour just directly on top of the stamping. As you can see, I've just stamped the heads mainly of the flowers, and I'll add the stems later. And I'm just having a play, dropping down colour, seeing what works, trying to mix them together. Another way of doing this, and a way that I had thought I might do at the start, is painting the flowers first of all with white gesso, and then doing the colouring on top of that. And what that would do is provide a richness to the colour and allow the flowers to stand out a little bit better. Sometimes I do this, and I've done this in previous videos. Now I'm sort of half wishing I did do this on this occasion, but I'm still just going with it and seeing what I get basically, and it turned out okay in the end, particularly when I've layered it up with some of the acrylic paint pens to bring certain highlights and so forth out. So I just carry on adding some colour, mainly just the pinks, purples, reds, keeping them all a very similar tone. But of course you can use any colours you wish in your picture, so long as it blends happily with the background. can see I've overstamped the lilies after I completed the colouring. I simply took the purple VersaFine Clair and the stamp and carefully laid that on top of the lilies. And now I'm going to show you how I did that this time on the other little flowers, and layer it over as well as you can. Have a look at what's underneath and line it up as best you can. And it doesn't really matter if it's not perfect, but it just adds the texture back. I'm not using the black or the blue ink pad because I really just want a hint of the line work for the flowers, and the purple of course blends nicely with what's underneath. Now in the water brush I'm using some watercolour from the little set, and this is like a fluorescent green, just adding that as stems. And I'll go on to mix. You can see me doing that just slightly off camera. Have the watercolour set at the top there, and I'm just taking a variety of greens and flicking them very roughly and intuitively along wherever I think would be stems or little grassy bits, etc. And as you can see, there's lots of dots and colours mixed in the centre of the piece, and I think the orange helps lift it a little bit. So just roughly taking a water brush is quite nice to use for this, and it's done quite quickly. Now this is the final stage of the painting, and I'm adding in the dark values to the front of the picture. And when I finish the stamping, I also take my blending brush and add some black very lightly to the left hand side along the bottom, just to allow the colours to pop, and that's what happens when you have a good range of tones from dark to light. That's the project complete. I hope you enjoyed it. It's mounted onto, it looks a bit yellow there, but it's actually green card and black. And you can see the difference that little touch of black makes to the front of the painting. I've also splattered, I think, some more white on top. I did that with the blue Posca pen, and I think I used just white gouache to add some more speckles along with the yellow dots, etc. And there might be some black in there as well. It was a very layered piece and I enjoyed doing it. If you learnt something today or enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you consider subscribing if you haven't already done so. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, share the video, all of that stuff, very much appreciated. This piece is for sale in my shop, and the links are in the description box below. Just look for them more underneath the video. So take very good care of yourselves until next week, and above all, get creating, be brave and enjoy the adventure.